I would hear them say, I have everything that I need. I know my business. I know all the information I need to know, but now I have to go to networking events, and I really don't feel it walking into that crowd. I show up late because I don't want to be noticed, and I don't want to really go on stage, like being just afraid to be seen. So I thought, this is where I could help.
In this episode, I am so excited to have here with me as my guest, Sheila Alley. Sheila is an image consultant and former radio show host who leads entrepreneurs, speakers, and business leaders through the process of creating a professional image that increases visibility, influence, and profits. Known for blending personal energy, self-empowerment, and wardrobe techniques, Sheila uses simple strategies to inspire her clients to create a style they love while being true to their authentic self so they can walk into any room poised and confident. Sheila is co-author of 101 Great Ways to Improve Your Life and My Style, My Way. Sheila facilitates image workshops on how to become more influential in every business occasion and speaks to women, groups, and businesses on how to align your image with your brand to attract more clients. Her quotes and articles have appeared in Complete Wellbeing and Chronicle Herald and the National Enquirer. Welcome, Sheila.
Hi.
This is so exciting to have you here in this episode. The reason I invited you to be part of this show is because you are an image consultant. And it's a subject very dear to me because it's something that I used to do years and years ago. And I love the fact that you're doing this and you're still doing this. And for the audience that is following us and listening to this and watching, can you share a little bit about who Sheila is?
Okay, well, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am in reference to how I started.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so when I was little, I was always interested in fashion and style and makeup and all that kind of stuff, like you probably were too. And so I came from a tiny place, so I didn't have much to do except for play with stuff like that. So one of the things that happened that kind of changed for me was that my mother, as all mothers, wanted to dress me as she wanted to dress me. And for someone who really likes fashion and style and wants to be their own person, I didn't like that too much. But one of the things she did was she had me wear a uniform to school, which you wouldn't think much about. But in my case, nobody else wore uniforms. So So I was the only person there in grade 3, grade 4, 5, and 6 with a uniform, wearing a uniform. So I couldn't play with the other kids because I had a dress on and they were sliding and stuff like that. And I really was kind of confined just by what I wore. So it restricted me. The other thing was that because I was dressed that way, I stood out. Now, it was a really small school, so weren't many kids there, but still, I stood out, and not in a really good way. So kind of been made fun of, like, oh, yeah, she's a mommy's girl, mommy tells her what to know, that kind of thing. And that coupled with other stuff in my life, I kind of kept to myself and was scared to really come out or speak my mind because of fear of ridicule. So later on, I came to fashion or style. Now this, like I said, this was kind of kept me down, and at that time, because I'm still a child. But later on, when I got older, I still wanted to explore this kind of stuff. So I went to school, learned about line of design, made all my own clothes. And so what I found out was that I thought, no, and I always loved how to dress, but I was really never good at it, because if nobody teaches you, you really don't know unless you you got to learn. So I learned everything I could. I read everything I could about it to find out how to do it. So I finally became a person who really knew how to dress well. But what I thought was, when I can dress really well, I'll feel better. And I did to a point, but I didn't totally. So I still didn't have all that self-confidence that I wanted. And this showed up in my relationships, and it shows up all over the place, really, when you're not confident. So after that, when I went a little bit longer, farther, and I started to help other women learn how to dress, I noticed the same thing, that they could be dressed up and look good, but they still had that something that was keeping them from their confidence. So luckily for me, I was interested to find out. I don't like feeling bad, like most people do, but I'm willing to try, willing to change. So as they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I did get training with confidence, and I met the right people at the right time, and I've been working on it ever since. So it never stops. You always continue to work to get better. I mean, when I get better as in feeling how you feel and stuff like that. So what I noticed is that the better I felt, the better things got for me. The more what's the word? I would take more chances, and I would do more. So, and I would always push myself out a little bit beyond my comfort zone. And so now I know how to dress, and I'm feeling good too. And when I realized how good that feels compared to how it felt before, I thought, I mean, really, I see women who I can see don't feel that way. I really wanted to share it. So
you're saying that the moment you started feeling more confident just because of what you were wearing,
mm-hmm.
now you felt more comfortable taking risks.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I never thought of it that way, but yes, it's that confidence that you get. You feel like you got more power, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that makes that difference from being confident, feeling confident in what you wear, to now taking risks because of it?
Well, it wasn't just the clothes. It was how I was dressed, that kind of confidence too. But because if you go out, you don't have to worry about how you look. You've got that covered. Especially when you know how it's done. You don't have to want, did I wear the right thing, or how does this look? You have it covered. But it's also with the work on the inside too. And that's how I work with my clients too, is I help them build their confidence from the inside, with beliefs, how you think, because how you feel is mostly about your beliefs and how you think about things. So if you change the way you think, things change. So that made me take risks more. Yes. So it has to do a little bit about how I looked and how I felt my dressing, but also how I saw the world.
So you attach the mindset with that, with combination.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's a mindset. So mindset is very important.
Yes. Well, to me, that's the foundation. If you don't have the mindset, everything else crumbles. I think that is where it all starts, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So when you started this whole journey into, getting the training and understanding fashion and how it communicated to yourself and to other people, and how you wear things, and you start helping other people, was it an automatic, I'm going to help entrepreneurs? Did you start working, because now you focus on entrepreneurs. Were you always working with entrepreneurs, or is that something that transitioned and why entrepreneurs?
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't. Not always. I started with women who were going back into the workforce, who had been into the workforce for a long time, and they were going back. So I used to work with groups of women. But what happened, I became an entrepreneur. So then I met other entrepreneurs, and then I became a speaker, and I noticed that I would hear them say, I have everything that I need. I know my business. I know all the information I need to know, but now I have to go to networking events, and I really don't feel it walking into that crowd. I show up late because I don't want to be noticed. and I don't want to really go on stage, like being just afraid to be seen. So I thought, this is where I could help. That if you're not afraid to be seen, and you can walk into a room and you can own who you are, people radiate towards that. They gravitate towards that because you radiate, but they gravitate towards you.
Now, you said something interesting. You said women would go to networking events and then they were afraid to be seen. But that's the whole point of networking, so that you can be
Exactly.
seen, right?
Yes.
So here it leads me to this question. Now you work with men as well, correct?
Not as much as women, but I do, yes.
Okay, so when you work with men, do you find that, like, just to see the difference in the mindset, do you feel that men have that same issue as far as not wanting to be seen, going to a networking event and not wanting to be seen as women do?
No, men are not so much like that. No,
They don't have that issue. They just need help. Help me because I don't know how to do it.
yeah, and they're more likely to come look for help. They're much more confident. After all, see, men are raised as to go get, just to do things, to go, like when it comes to dating, they're raised to go make the first move. They're used to rejection. So they're more likely to just go do it. But when it comes to how they dress, they're more likely to ask for help, because they know that that's just the added thing that will help them grow their business. If their look is in alignment with who they are. So if you're confident and now you look confident and you look well put together, that will improve your chances a lot more.
So how do you help women get over that I don't want to be seen, but you're going to have to be seen kind of thing? Because if you're going to be going into a whole new wardrobe, kind of redo of a look, if that's what's necessary, then they know that they're going to be seen. So how do you help them overcome that? I don't want to be seen, but I know I need to be seen. Kind of, can you help me? But I'm afraid.
And that's the whole thing about the networking event. They go there because they know they need to do it to build their business. But that doesn't help because they're not wanting to be seen. They need to go there. So how I help them with that is kind of this one thing. If you're there, you're being seen anyway. If you show up wherever you show up, you're being seen. You can dress in all black, you are still being seen. So why not make sure when someone looks at you and sees you that it's your best you? And it doesn't mean that you had to be dressed in glamour and jewels and very out there. When I help women dress in a way that's in alignment with who they are, and of course their brand, their business. So it's all in alignment. I don't take them and say, I think you should look like this, I think you should look like that. It's what they want and how they're going to feel most comfortable. And I have exercises that they do right from the beginning that helps build their confidence, because I'm working with their confidence as well as their appearance.
That is so important. So what would you say to people that, I think that a lot of women, especially women, have this belief, women who have gone through the process of getting help in, changing their look so that they have a more powerful impact. That they have this notion that to do that, to hire someone like you, would cost a fortune. They would have to buy a whole new set of wardrobe, and yet they have a wardrobe full of clothes that they're not wearing. Right?
Yeah, right.
Well, what is the statistics? 80% of what we have, we don't wear. We only wear 20% of what we have.
That's right.
Yeah. So what would you say to women who think that, oh, if I hire someone to help me, this is going to cost me so much because I'm going to need to replace everything I have, because look at this wardrobe. There's this notion that you would have to replace all that's there.
Well, for starters, you don't have to replace everything, because there are lots of things in your closet or women's closets that they don't know that they have, because I can help them match things that they didn't know they had that went together. The second thing is, if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll have more clothes that you don't wear. So you're going to spend more money on things that are just hanging in your closet. Whereas if you took that money and hired somebody, you could, or me, you could stop that. So you wouldn't continue to have clothes that keeps piling up in your closet. So now you can, once you know how to shop, and I take women through a process where they learn what's best for them, their colors, their shape, and their, all that kind of stuff. And then, so when they go to shop, so I help them know this is what, so they can make shopping easier, and it saves them time, and saves, in the long run, it saves money because you know what you're buying.
Right. And what would you say, this is your expertise, what would you say would be sufficient number of clothing items just to say I have an effective wardrobe without having a million pieces? How many key pieces would you say would be enough for a professional wardrobe?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a number that you suggest approximately? I'm not saying, a specific number, because I know it varies depending on the type of business position they have. I get all that.
Probably 14 items.
14 pieces?
Yeah, pieces, yeah.
So that's not very many.
No.
Imagine having only 14 pieces for your professional wardrobe. That really takes the headache away from trying to figure out what I'm going to wear, especially if you have it all coordinated and knowing in advance what goes with what, right? So not only you save them money.
Yes.
Right? You save money by buying exactly what you're going to wear.
Mm-hmm.
You save the time of the guesswork, what I'm going to wear today.
Yes. So you not only when you're shopping do you save time, but that morning when you're looking in your closet, like on average, women change their clothes 3 times before they leave.
Oh my goodness. I've done that though. I've done that. I have to confess I've done I have done that. Sometimes it's like, oh, I guess I ate a bit too much. This doesn't fit. And they change 3, 4 outfits before. Okay, this one will do it this time.
Yeah. Everybody does that.
Everybody does that. Well, I thought it was just me, but okay. I didn't know about the changing the clothes more than once. Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
But you can stop doing that if you have it all set up so you know exactly what outfit you have. And of course, it takes some pre-thinking about probably what you're going to wear for that week. You need to take into consideration the weather and stuff like that too, and where you're going to be, things like that.
And you said something earlier when you were sharing your story. Your mom would get you to wear a uniform to school, and you said you stood out not in the right way. And and that just brings me to the point, because that was such a good example of how, and it ties with what you were saying. People see you anyway. If you're wearing all black, they're going to see you anyway. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, they'll see you anyway. You can't really hide, right?
Just stay home.
So if you're gonna stand, if you're not wearing, that's the thing, is if you're not wearing the right appropriate look for what you're trying to represent in your business, you're going to stand out in a negative way, because it's going to backfire, right? Because that's part of your branding. Like, let's cutting to the chase, that's what it is. It doesn't matter if you work for another company, right, and you're representing a company, or if it is your own company, you're still part of that branding, because you're the voice, you're that face that's representing that.
Yeah, you are the company.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, this is such an important topic that I find so underestimated by so many. There are a few that get it. But if we look at politicians, when they go through their campaigns, when they have a speech to make, they all have an image consultant.
Yes.
Knowing exactly what it is that they have to wear, the colors that they have to wear, the style they have to wear, the fabric they have to wear, based on what they're going to say. Right?
Yes.
It's all psychology. And the reason I have you here is because I want to reinforce that message to the audience on how important it is that it's not just for your own self-confidence, but it's also about the message you're trying to bring across through your business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to hire people like Sheila. And Sheila beautifully offers her services. You offer your services virtually.
I do.
And that's fantastic, because that means anyone, anywhere can just, just get in touch with you, and you don't have to go into their home. That's the other thing. I'll have to, I'm a very private person, even though I'm very out there and lively, and I'm very friendly and I'm outgoing.
Me too.
Yeah, I like to be very private, and there are certain things that I can identify with some people who would feel like, I don't want a stranger coming and walking into my closet, because it's like, that's so private to me. And I think the fact that you offer your services virtually, it's such a plus, because it detaches that of, it gives that little safety blanket. Oh, you're over there, you're not in my closet, even if I show you my closet.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
different feeling, but there's still that connection, because we're still seeing face to face and talking. So I love that you're doing this virtually as well.
Mm-hmm.
What a
Really
great
good.
service to provide. So Sheila, if people want to get in touch with you and want to find out more about you, how do they get a hold of you?
My website is SheilaAlley.com. SHEILAALLEY, like the bowling alley.com. And my email is just Sheila@SheilaAlley.com.
Are you on social media as well?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Awesome.
On Facebook, it's Sheila Alley Coaching.
Awesome. Okay, so continuing on,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast and interviews and having people like you as a guest, it's not just to pick your brains and sharing what you do, but also to share the business side of being an entrepreneur, just so that other people who are out there who are listening to this or watching this, feel like, oh, I can identify with that. So I'm going to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer, but I hope you do. Would you be willing to share a time when you had a big business challenge as an entrepreneur, and then how you were able to turn around, what the pivoting point was for that? Would you have a story like that to share?
A big business challenge, like uh,
I have another question for you.
yeah, okay. I'm trying to think.
Okay. So yeah, I'll come back to that. Okay. So what can you share a story of a client that at first couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but then when it all was done was, I get it, and totally understood the whole process and the difference it made, like how it impacted them? Do you have a story of a client that you could share?
Usually when people come to me, they already know that they want to.
So it's like the last resort. Help!
Yeah. I can tell you a story of a person who came, but kind of not really, she was not really believing it herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she came with hopes that this could work for her. And she wasn't an entrepreneur. But anyway, she after it was over, she was a person who was kind of not really seen at all. Nobody really noticed her. And after it was over, and she didn't know how to put clothes together. It was all about the clothes part, mostly, or appearance. She didn't know how to put any of that together. But when it was all over, when we were finished after our sessions, she would tell me, every time I would see her, she'd say, oh, this is what happened today, that this person noticed me and said this to me, and somebody else said something, and that kind of thing. And she was getting noticed more at work. And I think what happened was her confidence grew, and she became more open and took more risks because of it. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't really sure in the beginning it was going to work. At the end, I could see she blossomed because of it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's nice to see that. It's nice to see that process of the confidence building. And it's, like we said before, it's the person starts feeling more confident. People notice the person. Communication starts happening between, like there's an added level of communication that happens beyond what is obvious when, when you're showing your best, when you're looking your best, when you're feeling confident There's nothing worse than like you can be perfectly dressed and have the stain on you, right? And it's all you can think of is the stain on you,
Yes,
right? Like it's totally
yes,
distracting. Your confidence level just goes down the drain, right?
it does because you're distracted. Exactly. And that's it. When if you got to think about something else, that maybe you wore the wrong outfit, maybe your
Exactly.
hair is not right, there's something that you're not really sure of, you all of a sudden you're distracted. And when you're distracted, you're not paying attention to the people next to you. And appearance, image is not just about appearance. It's about your body language and your behavior and your communication skills. And all that's affected when you don't feel good. And that's
Do you,
something else.
yeah. Yeah. No, I was just going to say, do you have any tips for our listeners and for our audience that they could use right now on how they could look better or boost their wardrobe? Just any tips that could just make that little difference
Uh,
between now and hiring you.
between yeah. Okay, yes. Well, for once, for appearance, one of the things that you could do really quickly to make yourself more credible and more approachable is to wear a jacket. If you're say you're going to a networking event, just put a jacket on that's in your right color and that's the right shape for your body, and of course matches the rest of your outfit. That will give you an instant credibility. For appearance. For behavior and communication, I think a quick thing that people do that a lot of people don't do is when they talk to someone, actually listen. When you listen to people, you're not listening to you're not thinking about how you're going to reply. You're listening to what they said. And when someone's listened to, they will really like you, appreciate you, and they don't know why, but it's because you paid attention.
Yeah, you make that connection.
Yeah, yeah. And it's one of the things that a lot of people don't do. They don't listen. So just that one thing to listen will bring your credibility up really quickly.
Yeah, would you say that happens a lot more in a networking type setting,
Yeah.
networking event?
Well, it happens sometimes. I've noticed that people are interested in passing up their cards. Let's talk about me, but don't talk about you. Ask about the other person.
That's
And
great advice.
yeah, ask about them. Become curious about people. And you will it boosts your image when you do that.
So I'm going to go back to what you said earlier in one of the tips that you gave. You said, "Oh, wear a jacket will add credibility." Would you say that applies to all types of businesses? Like, there are some people who are very techy, and they're not into that, especially the younger generation, right? They're more into a more casual look. Would you still recommend them um, to wear a blazer or a jacket at a networking event, even if their industry doesn't really kind of have that look?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you're at a networking event, it's a different setting than if you're at work. So you can still be casual and have a casual jacket. It also has, I mean, a jacket that fits into your whole outfit. So it still can be a jacket, but it would be casual. Yeah, I still say yes, you do that. But there's a
So
way to do it.
wear a jacket, and
Yeah,
then Sheila can tell you how to wear it.
yeah. I can think of an answer for your other question now.
Okay, great. Yay.
I thought of an answer. And it's actually something that I learned that a few years ago, I decided that it would be a good idea if, because I was always trying to improve my business and I was learning about all kinds like marketing and all this kind of stuff that you don't really want to learn, but you need to learn. So I was learning all this and I thought, maybe other image consultants would like to do this too. So I decided to create the Fashion Experts Network, where I intended to have, and I did, I would have monthly calls with experts in different areas, like in marketing and what else did I have? Whatever was for business things, can't remember. Well, every month I would have a different guest. This was probably back in 2010, and I did this for a while, and then people would become members. It didn't work. It didn't work, and then I had to change to something else. Then I decided, maybe I'll do some dating, like help people with dating, because I'm very interested in dating and attraction, laws of attraction. No, so it didn't work. So what happened was I came full circle, went right back to where I had been all along, and stayed with what works. And what I learned was not to chase these what are they called, shiny objects.
That's an entrepreneurial disease. We all have it. We all have it.
Yes. And every now and then, so now I know when it happens, I had to think about, okay, is that a shiny object? And should I just, because it could be on a small level, it could be just another course about something, that kind of thing, or it could be on a bigger level where you change your whole thing of what you're doing. And then it really causes trouble if you do that, because it takes you off on a different path.
Mm-hmm. So it really just helped you get back and stay focused on what it is that you truly love, something that you love doing what you do. Because I know I've talked to you before this interview, and I sense how passionate you are about what you do and helping entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you one last question before we go.
Sound like a question I might not want to answer.
It's not a bad question. It's an easy question. Question. I think so far everybody's answered it. And the question is, and I know, we know your story about getting into fashion and being interested in the fashion because of what happened. However, as a child, when you think back of yourself as a child, what did you dream to be like when you grow up? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, I wanted to be a dancer.
Really?
A rockette.
Cool. That is so cool.
When I was really young, that's what I wanted to be. And of course, with rockettes comes nice costumes, right?
Yes. Yes. It's the whole look and package and sparkles and the.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. The glitz. The
glam. Yeah. Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to be when I was,
But you've taken dance classes.
Yeah, well, and I was a bit late for that, but I was an aerobics instructor for years.
Hey, that's okay. That's one way.
Well, that's kind of a way, and I would incorporate my own kinds of dancing into that. So that was the way that I actually got to do it.
That is awesome. I was a late bloomer too, so there you go. I always wanted to be a dancer as a kid, but I didn't get to do it professional until I was older. So there you go. That's just the way it works. It's never too late.
No, and I'm gonna learn belly dancing now.
Yay! Oh, that's awesome. Fun.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing your pearls of wisdom and your expertise with me and with the audience. And I'm just going to repeat, your website is Sheila Alley, SheilaAlley.com, correct? And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It was fun.
Are you ready to transform your business and experience multifaceted growth? Whether you've had your business for a while or you're considering starting one, this conference is for you. Top-notch speakers, trainers, and workshops that will discuss strategies that move you and your business forward, regardless of where you are in your business. Ignite that one thing that will change everything.